Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, here to give you the quick tea on luxury makeup, and today we are talking about Givenchy Prisme Libre line in terms of their powder formulas. I have a loose setting powder and then I have their loose powder blush. So 2 shades in the blush and then 1 shade in their setting powder. These are not necessarily new items that came out this year. They're just new to me. This is my first time using these products. Obviously I love it because I kept buying, but I thought I'd love to share to you guys. You know, somebody recently in one of my videos asked me, hey, what's the powder that you're using to set your, what setting powder are you using? And I'm like, it's Givenchy Libre, and I figure, hey, let me show you these products if you haven't already. Let you know what I think of the formula, and if you're curious about what the shades look like, particularly if you are my shade twin, I figure maybe this video might be helpful to you. So, as always, I always like to show you demo videos first. So I will have a video where I will use the blush shade number 6, which is Flanelle Rubis, but it's number 6. And then I will also have a demo video of today's look where I do use the number 5 setting powder. This is Popeline Mimosa setting powder to set my face. And then in terms of the blush, it's blush number 5, which is Popeline Violine blush on my cheeks. So check out these demo videos, see the application, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you my final opinion on the products. So I'm going to be using the Givenchy Prisme Libre loose setting powder in the shade 5. I think it's called Mimosa, no, Popeline Mimosa. So as you can see, there are 4 shades in here, and now you can mix them together, and I've done that before and it works. But one thing that I like to do is, because I tend to, when I use setting powders, generally speaking, I use 2 different setting powders. I'll use a lighter one for my under eyes and anywhere where I conceal, and then I will use a deeper one that's closer to my own skin tone and anywhere that I've used cream bronzer. So what I like to do with this is that, I don't know if you can appreciate this or not, but I like to use the 2 lighter sides for those areas where I use concealer, and the 2 deeper sides for the area where I use cream contour. So I do actually use this puff in particular I will block out the sides I want. So since I want to use these 2 lighter sides, I take my puff and I actually cover the 2 dark sides, and then I actually tap on that side to get the 2 lighter shades, because I like the brightening effect of the lighter shades, and then I will get my brush and do it. So give me 1 second. And I did add a little bit more powder, and I grabbed my Sonia G Lotus Detail brush, and then I'll dip it in and kind of even mix those 2 shades together and kind of tap off a little bit of the excess. So I have a good amount of powder. I usually will put a little bit on one side, a little bit on the other side, and then blend in, just so I can hopefully get an equal amount. But hopefully you can see this, but it provides brightening, and I feel like it blurs skin, and it is such beautiful finish. It's light and it's just lovely. And then so I go everywhere. I'm gonna pour a little bit more, but like I said, I go everywhere that I use my concealer. All right, and sometimes I'll even go by the smile lines as well. All right, even above the lip a little bit. All right, so this time I'm blocking the light side and doing the 2 deeper sides. And once again, I'm gonna tap it in here, and then we'll apply. All right, so I got the deeper shades in here. Not that it's super deep, but the deeper of the 4. I'm using the Sonia G Face 1 buffer. So you can see the 2 shades in there. I know it's not fully mixed, but I'm just gonna put a little bit in enough, but I think it just sets it beautifully. Sometimes I try to mix it within the pan. Like I said, I set anywhere I use my cream contour. And that is what I do. So after I do foundation, concealer, and cream contour, and then I always set with powder, and because it sets things, because I don't like to be all sticky, and it keeps everything just blurred, and yeah, that's what I love to do, is always set before I move on to eyeshadow and blush and so forth. I know I have dry skin, so it's like powder. Like I said, even though I have dry skin, I always still set my makeup because I don't want my makeup to be sticky, and I want to make sure I have a blur effect. Now, to bring back some moisture back, you know, I don't know for oily skin, but particularly for me, just to kind of refresh things so I don't look too powdery and I don't feel too dry, I use a refreshing spray. For me, I use the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1. I shake it. So this is not a setting spray. I normally use Charlotte Tilbury at the very end for setting spray, but in this particular setting, and this brings back my face, brings back the moisture, so I'm not too powdery. And then I move on to the rest of my makeup. All right, next is blush that we're going to use from the Givenchy Prisme Libre collection is shade number 5. So this is more of a pinky blush. And with the blushes, like I did with the other blush, I don't use a puff. I mix all the colors. I use them all. So this one, I don't discriminate. I just put them all in and I just mix them all together and just apply it with the typical. All right, this is the brush I love to use for most of my blushes, the Sonia G Soft Cheek. So this is just what I typically go in. So I got it in the pan and then I just dip in. And hold on, I like to. And I just take my time to build it up. And it's just a pretty shade, but also just a pretty finish. Like there's something about the finish of this is very sophisticated. It's both giving color, but still giving this like soft effect, blurred effect. I don't know. There's just something really pretty about the formulation of this blush. And of course I love the color, but one, and then I couldn't help myself to buy a second just because I love this formulation, and the color is such, I think, a pretty color. So these are the two. So I bought the two deepest blushes in the line, the more corally and the more pinky one. All right, today I'm going to be using the Givenchy Prisme Libre blush in the shade number 6. And so this is the more corally, orangey corally one. All right, and I'm just going to twist it off, take out the puff. I don't use a puff, and I mix all shades together. So I just literally tap it in. And I will just dip my brush straight into it and put it on camera. I just added a little bit more, but I literally just dip my brush into it. You can see powder there. And just nicely apply. This is such a pretty shade. Oh, I just love the finish of it. It's just, it's a bare face, and then the blush. Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, let's go to the other side. And yeah, the application is flawless. It's seamless. It's pigmented, but it still is fine and luxurious in its application. All right, hopefully you found those demo videos helpful. Let's talk about it. So I'm going to first start with the powder. So, you know, in regards to if we're talking about the powder, setting powder or the blush, You see packaging wise, similar, the square shape with 4 different shades. That's, you know, the big thing about this pattern. The difference between the blush and the setting powder, blushes have the clear top, and the color, just trying to see if they're all both pink or if they correspond to the color of the blush, but I think they're all pink there, where the symbol here is black and silver. So that's the main difference in terms of the packaging. But let's first break down this powder. So it comes in, I believe, 6 shades, and I got number 5. So this is not the deepest. There's one that's even that has I think feel like a little more red in there. But I went with this one that is more golden peachy. So you twist open and then you get a powder puff. Now in terms of application, I don't use a puff. I like to use brushes. I love to use natural hair brushes. But particularly in this one, this powder puff serves a purpose, and you would have seen. Now, you can certainly mix all the shades, but I actually like to separate video. I tend to, when I'm setting my concealer areas, I tend to like to go for a lighter, brighter shade versus when I'm setting my cream contour, that I usually pick a shade that is closer to my skin tone. And although I could certainly mix all 4 and it would work, I've done it, it works fine. But just a personal preference, what I like to do is I like to, for the under eyes, use the 2 lighter shades, and then for the other areas, the deeper side. You know, this side has a little bit more brown to it, so I like that for this area, where this has more of a golden side to it. Both has like a peachy, a lighter peachy and a darker peachy, but especially these 2 shades are very distinguishable, more distinguishable, and I like that I can customize, and that's the beauty of this. If you like all 4 shades mixed together, go for it. But also, if you want to isolate certain shades, you can. So I just take the powder puff and cover this side when I want to do this side, and when I want to do this side, I just cover this side. And then I can, you know, and however you want. You can do this way. You split it however you like it, but I love that you have that option. The description of this powder, I agree with. They say it's an ultra finely milled setting powder that resists caking, is designed to mattify, blur, and illuminate the complexion for a perfected makeup result. I agree with every single word of that. I think it's a fantastic formula. Beautiful, beautiful, sophisticated formula. So for setting powder, love it. Let's talk about blushes. So I tried one. I think the first one I bought was this one, actually. This, which is number 6. I was going back and forth. Which one should I get? Which one should I get? I think I bought this during the Sephora VIB sale. I bought this one. Clearly I loved it. So I went later on and I got this shade, number 5. So these are the 2 deepest shades, number 5 and 6. One is more corally orange, and the other one is more pinky, maybe with a little bit of lavender mixed in there as well. Once again, the beauty of having 4 different shades, and yes, you can pick and choose which, you know, if you only want 2 shades or however you want it. 1, 2, 3, 4, do what you want. It's your world. For me, unlike the setting powder, I just straight mix all 4 shades. I don't mix them. I don't try to customize. I just love the shade as is, so I just mix all 4 together. But like I said, if you prefer one side or the other, definitely go for it. That's the beauty of it. So same thing, same packaging, the puff. So this one, I really don't use the puff at all, except to just cover the area. So as with all, you know, I tap it in here and I use my traditional blush and I apply it. I think, once again, this is another sophisticated, lovely formula. It's, you know, it's like a radiant matte, but it's so light because it is powder. It's still that finely milled formulation, kind of like the setting powder, but it's still pigmented. I might be getting washed out a little bit here because I'm, you know, standing right in front of the direct sunlight. Maybe I can post some pictures. I hope you can still appreciate the blush because it is pigmented, but it's so beautiful. It's such a sophisticated formula. The description on this is that it provides 12 hours of radiance and an instant pop of color. So yeah, I mean, sure, it definitely provides radiance, but it's not like glowy. You know, I'm shining right now because I got the Dior liquid highlighter, but in terms of the actual blush, it has a glow, but not glowy, like not obnoxiously glowy. It's not, you know, super shiny or metallic or anything like that. There's no, you know, there's no sparkles in it. So it truly is beautiful. I'm just reading the description. Let's see. It's an ultrafine milled, weightless texture of a blush into skin, diffusing color for a natural second skin finish. That is the true description. Yeah. So they were right on with their descriptions. Everything that Givenchy said in their descriptions. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. This is such a sophisticated formula for both products. I love this line. I just, yeah. Yeah, anything that they want to do in this kind of line, if there's a color that suits my preference and my skin tone, I'm going to go for it. I just think this formula is fabulous. So that's really it. That's all I got to say about the products. Hopefully you found this helpful. You know, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing to my channel. Also follow me on Instagram because that's where I'm most active. So please follow me there, Daps_makeup. Otherwise, I'll see you next time when I show you whatever new product, you know, pops into my makeup collection. Otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.